Introduce special guest. This is Grant Overstake. He was a decathlete at University of Kansas. This is his wife, Claire. Grant was also a volunteer assistant for us, and he's been a big help to our program. He's also an author, and he's got some great stories to tell. So I'm just going to go ahead and give the floor to him.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. There was a national championship here, and a pole vaulter by the name of Earl Bell was in the competition. Now, I'll backtrack a little bit. A couple of days before, Coach Herm Wilson, who was the coach here at Wichita State, and his son Donnie Wilson, who was my age. So I grew up with Donnie Wilson, and we had privileges. When we were over at Brooks Junior High, we were both pole vaulters, and we got to come up here, and we got to work out we used to dress in the locker room, we used to work out here, and so we had really cool privileges. Well, we were getting ready for the track meet, right? And so Coach Wilson says, we're going to go down to the sporting goods store downtown because I ordered a steel tape measure, okay? Who can tell me why we need a steel tape measure, why we used to need a steel tape measure at big track and field meets? No clue, probably not. Because today they use lasers, right? It's all lasers. Well, back then, the only way you could verify a world record was with a steel tape, made out of steel tape measure, okay? All the rest of them kind of made out of that fiberglass stuff that you've seen at your own meets, right? Okay, so we go down and pick it up. He has it in the box, and he's telling us on the way home, now we're not going to open this unless there's a world record. That's it. Because otherwise we're just going to send it back to the sporting goods store. Are you following me here? Okay. So that steel tape measure is in a box at the announcer's stand. Okay, and I'm at the pole vault, catching poles. The bar goes up and up and up. And pretty soon, Earl Bell is the only guy left in the competition. Earl Bell's from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Started pole vaulting as a little guy like you guys. And the bar goes up to a world record height of 18 feet 7 and a quarter inch. That was as high as anybody had ever tried before up until that time. And so the guy that's running the meet says, Grant, go get the steel tape. So I'm all the way over here on this side. Can you imagine? I'm over here on this side of the field. And I zoomed over there. Ran, I don't think my feet touched the ground, guys. I mean, I picked up that steel tape and I ran back. And they got the ladders out and they measured it. And yep, it was going to be a world record, you know. And so we're all waiting. And here comes Earl Bell flying down the runway. And I'm underneath there as he goes, and he makes it. World record. How many actually knew that there was a world record vault here? This is one of the greatest historic places for pole vaulting in the whole world. And Earl Bell, in that moment in time, in that moment of history, that was as high as anybody in the whole universe had ever pole vaulted. And I was right there hanging on to the pole, and I have to tell you, it was like that pole was like electrified, like it had been hit by lightning. And my whole body was shaking, and it was just like, boom. And it was a moment that changed my life forever. Okay, talk about lucky, right? And so there I was. Flash forward a bunch of years, and I go to college, I do the track thing. I'm also a writer, and I get a chance to be a newspaper guy writing sports stories, and part of that journey led me down to the Miami Herald, which is a good-sized newspaper. But then I came back to Kansas. My wife and I, Claire, she was a great athlete in college and high school. And so what we did is, how many know Doc Bro? Mark Bro. How many are familiar with Tailwind Pole Vaulting Club? Anybody know that club? Well, there's a club. There's a pole vaulting club up in Jamestown, Kansas, excuse me. And it's near Concordia, and it's a converted basketball arena that they don't use anymore. And inside, it's the most awesome pole vaulting you'll ever find. And some of the greatest pole vaulters in the world come there actually to pole vault at an event called the Oktoberfest. And lo and behold, in 2010, I'm getting ready for a Masters Decathlon, and we're up there, and who is there? Earl Bell. After all those years. There he was. And you know what he was doing? He was sitting there watching pole vaulters. They'd run down and they'd pole vault, and then he'd say, come over here. And he'd share a few words of wisdom to them, and they'd go and try again. You know how it is, pole vaulting coach. Well, I gave you an idea. First of all, I went up and I introduced myself to him. I said, you don't know me, but we shared an important moment in history together. And I told him the story, you know, and everything. He said, that was you? I said, yeah, that was me. And he was like, wow. You know, so he never knew it was me until I told him, you know. So if you go on YouTube and watch Earl Bell's world record, you'll see a guy dash in there. He's in a gold and black striped shirt. He'll grab the pole, and that's me. My moment. That's as close as I ever got to a world record. But I was there, you know. So anyway, I got this idea when I was watching Earl coach. I said, what if? You know, and I'm not going to spoil the story that I wrote by telling you what the answer was. But Earl agreed to work with me on this story. Maggie vaults over the moon. And so I wrote a book, and it got published. And since then, it has become quite a cool book in the world of pole vaulting. Has anybody heard of it or read it by any chance? Wow.